it's InkdMage, and I have got some unpainted Nolzurs minis for you to check out today that are forthcoming from WizKids. These are tremendous. I think they're tremendous because a lot of these minis may be ones that came in the Icons of the Realm that were pre-painted, but you didn't get when you drew your booster pack and you wanted it. For example, this is the Frost Giant Skeleton. Maybe you didn't get this one, but now here's the opportunity for you to get it and to customize it how you want with the paint job of your choice. Okay, let's take a closer look. This one is very cool. I'm a big fan of hill giants. We've got the mouth of Granulator, or Grolantor rather. And we can see that this mini has a lot of, he looks like an angry, old banker. Doesn't he? But I like it though. I like the variety. Look at this, look at his flabby paunch. His emaciated form, well, emaciated for a hill giant. I think he's broken free of his chains, and he's gonna Herman Munster the door and make a beeline for the dinner table. We've got a Cyclops. Cyclopses are really good. If you ever run Pathfinder's Skull and Shackles, there comes a point where you'd need a lot of Cyclopses. So it's very excellent to have the option to go and pick up a bunch of these. And look at the detail. He's got like a rope around his neck. You can see how they chose to represent a paint scheme, and ropes around the boots. Lots of detail. And this homemade, crude, primitive hammer. And a pretty snappy haircut. That's a really good mini. Now here's the one I mentioned before. It's the Frost Giant Skeleton. And again, these are, man, you could have like a bunch of these, and, throw at your characters as they go high level. Instead of just regular skeletons, do a horde of Frost Giant skeletons. And it doesn't have to be Frost Giant. You don't have to paint that like snow, and you could paint this up as whatever. You could paint it as though it was a fire giant, right? Or just a giant. But I like the Frost Giants. I love the detail. Look at the axe and the broken wood, how it's splintered, and just a lot of really nice detail on these minis. These really look great. And I'm also a big fan of painting bigger minis because they are easier to paint than, say, some of these little ones. We'll get the little ones last. What a cool mini. Look at the dragonfly. Now, each of these minis comes with an accompanying base. I love that they're clear, but almost all of them don't really need that. You can just place them down. So maybe you paint up other kinds of minis, or maybe you want to snip the bases off, snip them off their bases and just put them on clear bases. You could do that too. That's up to you. But check out this dragonfly, and what's cool is that clear plastic for the wings, right? Well, it's not quite clear, but you know what I mean. It allows you to add some technical paint and really give it a fantastic look. This is really good. I have some giant wasps and things, but I don't have a giant dragonfly, so that's going to be very cool to paint. And I really, really like this one. This is female ogre. I only have one other female ogre from 3.5, and they look way different. And this one really is in line with the way the ogres look now, and you can see how they decided to paint her here. She's a little more well-to-do maybe for ogres. I mean, she's dressed pretty good. Her hair isn't too ratty. mean, look, largely decent clothes. Let's see this other large one. This is right, you get your pentadrone. What do you think, Walter? You like the pentadrone? Do you like the pentadrone? You know, if you are going to have your players visit Mechanus, or Mechanus, however you'd like to pronounce it, you know, you can pick up an assortment of these minis to fill out your adventure. You know, I played one time before these minis were being made, and somebody threw down a bunch of dice, and I thought, oh, that was pretty clever, but no need to use dice, because you can actually go get the minis that WizKids puts out, the monodrones and all the other ones. They're really pretty cool to have. Here we have a crag cat, and this is from Rime of the Frost Maiden, right? And they put out really excellent pre-painted ones for Rime of the Frost Maiden, but now here is an unpainted one for you to paint up how you like. And what's cool is maybe you have some of the pre-painted ones like I do, but then you could paint this so you have some variety on the battlefield. I'm a big fan of variety. Here's another one that I didn't have. I don't have an ice troll, so I'm very excited to have this one and paint it up. Look at that sinister face in pose, like, come and get some, bro. All right, you see how they painted this troll up. I think it's a female troll. You can see the carefully concealed parts. You know, it's always great. Like, they're always modest, like, you know, no matter how degenerate these creatures are, they're always modest. It's like Gollum in Lord of the Rings, wearing a loincloth. So I'm excited to include this one in my arsenal of trolls. And I just have to say, I'm pretty impressed. This troll is doing serious squats, because look at the definition on the legs here. I mean, easily, you know, squatting like 550, you know. And let's see, well, the glutes would be an indicator too, but the glutes are kind of covered by fur. We're gonna assume that those are some tight glutes. Here we have a chimera, and this one is mounted. I'm not gonna pick it up. Well, I guess I could pick it up and show you. Right now it's not glued. And why didn't they glue it? Well, that's so you can paint more easily and not mess up the clear base, and then do that separately and then glue it down later. But chimeras are always good to have. In fact, I think the only chimera mini I have, believe it or not, is a Reaper one that I painted. But I have to tell you, this one looks better. Shh, don't say anything. And it's more consistent with the D&D look. Why? Because these are made by WizKids for D&D. So I'm just gonna set that one down. Let's see, what do we have here? We've got, now I have a Tomb Tapper. I have one of these that are pre-painted, but I only have one. And something like this, these things might be like excellent guards inside, you know, a big bad's lair. So it's good to have two. And when you have them in different poses, it makes it easier to indicate, you know, when you're in the eye of combat, you know, directing your players, you know, which one is moving, or they can indicate which one they're attacking. But this is a sinister creature. Look at his nipples, look like eyes. And maybe you want to paint them like their eyes. Here's how the mock-up is painted. Maybe they are eyes. I don't know. You know what? I forget what book this is in. I have it, but it's interesting because I don't look through the books as much as I should, or as much as you think I would, since I'm a dungeon master every week. Here's the Abominable Snowman. I mean Yeti. The Abominable Yeti. If you are running Rime of the Frost Maiden, you know, you're going to want to pick up some of these because you'll need them. This is really, man, I like the pose. You know, he's not like going to take up a massive amount of space based on how his arms are positioned. He's going to take up just the space that his base will require. Now, he would go on a huge base, as you can see. But again, you don't have to put him on a base. You can leave him just like that. Now my sons liked these guys, the snow golems. Look, they got their little teeth. They're basically walking snowballs, throwing snowballs. Again, if you're running Rime and the Frost Maiden, that's going to be a good one to have. Let's see, we have some barbed devils here. This is the paint scheme they used. And you can see, by having the translucent plastic, you could use some technical paint and make that flame whatever color you want. But if you're running an Avernus campaign, or just making your players visit hell, or maybe these are summoned creatures, these are going to be minis that you want to have in your arsenal. Another one my oldest son really was wild about was he really likes his mushroom people. And so you got the Myconid Sovereign and the Sprouts. The Sprouts are pretty cool. We'll take a look first at the Sovereign. Lots of detailed, which could be a pain in the neck if you are worried about painting lots of detail, but you could still just stick with a 2 to 3 paint color scheme and make something cool. I mean, look at, there's not a lot of color here, but it looks fantastic. But you could go nuts and really get in and do detail if that's the kind of painter you are. I'm a bit of a lazy painter. And then how cute are these little things, these little sprouts, right? They're like the lap dogs of myconids. That's pretty cool. I like that. Speaking of little, you've got Boggles, and you have 3 Boggle minis. I like that you're getting more in one pack. I mean, these are just tiny minis. So, and you really want to like throw this type of monster, you know, at your heroes in numbers. You don't want to just use one. I mean, maybe you do, and I don't mean to tell you how to run your game, but this is a good horde monster. Mischievous little creeps. Look at, you could paint them up as Boggles, or maybe they're goblins in your game, or whatever. But I like that WizKids is making the actual monsters that you can find in the monster manual. So I encourage you to use them however you see fit. But I do like that they make them. I mean, look at, these could be corrupt dwarves or gnomes instead of red caps, but you can use these guys. Again, these are good minis because you get a couple in a pack. You could buy a couple packs of these, and then you have a horde of these mischievous little creatures to plague your heroes when you're running your game, right? The small minis have a lot of detail, but look, you don't need to use a lot of paint scheme to paint these. My general thought is to do 2 or 3 colors tops. I mean, that's it. Make it table ready. You've got Corids. These are little fey creatures. Come on, let's come into focus here. With kind of outlandish mustaches and beards. We've got little goat feet and a whip. I mean, maybe you want to simulate a Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and this could be the dwarf creature, right? That served the White Witch. These are very cool minis. And again, you don't have to go nuts with your paint scheme. I mean, look at this, is like basically 3 colors here, and then you're done. We get a couple really detailed minis, and I want to kind of just focus in on the artwork first. You can see I'm excited about this one with the sword and shield. Because at some point, I want to run an all-dwarf campaign, and I know somebody will want to play that one. So you've got this dwarf fighter. I'm not a real huge fan of two-handed dwarf fighters. It's just not my thing. I like a weapon and shield or a great weapon, but you know, some people do like having that variety and that option. What I do like, so I mean, I think it's a great mini. It's just my personal preference. What I do like is look at the armor, look at the Celtic knot on the belt. I mean, lots of detail. I mean, look, you see it there, but I mean, look at, you can go nuts on the detail with the painting. This mock-up doesn't, but you can. And again, so here's the one that I really like. Has that Celtic knot, different type of armor. Look at this heroic stature and pose. Man, she is a formidable warrior. In case you didn't know, I'm a huge fan of the dwarven folk, the sons and daughters of stone and mountain. I love this mini, and I will probably do something very similar. I like that paint scheme quite a bit. What do you say? Here we have elf clerics. This could be an elf cleric for a certainty. It could be an elf fighter too. I like clerics that use maces and morning stars. That's, you know, that's old school. This would be great if you're going more of an old school game too, because, you know, clerics don't really need, you know, a regular weapon now that cantrips are in play that you can use at will. But I still, you know, maybe unless you're playing a war priest. But I like this one, but I particularly like this one, because this doesn't have to just be a cleric. It could be a druid, could be a wizard. I like that versatility. And again, the inclusion of, you know, the translucent plastic on the WizKids minis, you know, is so great. Now, maybe you don't have technical paint, so you could still paint that up how you like, but the technical paint really provides a great opportunity to make it look like an arcane effect, you know, like to get it to look like that. So this is, man, this one makes me want to play an elf wizard. Look at the detail here. Got a brooch, the fur-trimmed outfit. What a cool dramatic pose, like summoning power. Just what a great mini. So we have some excellent minis here from WizKids that are coming out. These are, you know, the unpainted minis ready to go. What's great is, again, they are very reasonably priced. You can pick up minis that you didn't get pre-painted in the boxes, some that they don't even, they haven't made for the Icons of the Realms, and you can just like create hordes of creatures you like, a horde of snow golems or what have you, an army of myconids. You know, you can go nuts. So I really, really love these and totally recommend them for you to get, whether you order through the WizKids site or go to your local mom and pop shop and support them. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram for some extra XP, and until the next time, I'll catch you later.